Hey legends, in this video we're going to take a look at a plugin from a company called Schwabe Digital, and the plugin itself is called Gold Clip. And as you can guess, it is a clipper plugin, but there is some other little features to this clipper which make it kind of special. And we're going to use this on two sources. We're going to use it on our mix bus and on our drum bus. Those are kind of like the two most popular places to use a clipper. So we're going to test it on those and see how it goes. So this is Schwabe Digital's site and this is Gold Clip, and you can see it's coming in at a pretty high price of $249 US. So as far as plugins go, it's pretty up there in the price range. So they sent me a license so that I could test the plugin out and show it to you guys, but there's no affiliation with this. So if you guys like this plugin and you think that it's worth spending the money on, then you can go try it. There's a free 30-day trial, and then if you want to get your hands on it, it's $249. And there's a couple of features to this plugin which make it kind of cool. So there's a couple of clippers built into it, so you can select between a modern, classic, and a hard clipper. And then they have their gold knob, which is like a special kind of compression. So the way they put it is gold significantly increases perceived loudness of your tracks while leaving peaks and transients untouched. And then we also have the Alchemy knob. And the Alchemy knob is basically like, in my opinion, like a deharsh. The sonic effect is very much like the high frequency saturation from tape. I kind of think of it as a soothe knob. And then we have the box tone button. Rolls off the really high frequencies at the top of your mix, and it gives it a less digital sound. But if you're interested, jump on the site. I'll put a link in the description below and you can read all about what this plugin can do. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a mix here. We're gonna run Gold Clip over it and we're gonna see what we can do. We've got the mix kind of hitting a limiter kind of hard, because the usual trick with clipping is to shave a few dBs off your mix bus so that you gain back a little bit of headroom and you don't have to hit the limiter quite as hard. So we're gonna see if we can kind of achieve that trick with this and how far we can kind of push it and what kind of tone we can get. So without any more chatter, let's just dive into it.
Morality has been bred out, and nobody remembers now. There's nobody with a soul around for miles except for you and me alone. Let's do our
It actually doesn't sound too bad, and we're getting around 4.5 dBs of clipping, and we're on the classic clipper at the moment. So I'm gonna skip between this now so you can hear the different clipping modes.
best to let them know. When we were dancing on the street, we seemed to stop time. This was never our town, but we made it ours. Try to stay safe and sound.
So the hard clipper is sort of the most transparent in a way that it just really chops away the tops of the peaks, and it gives it a little bit of an extra edge to it, which sometimes sounds pretty cool. So in this case, I kind of like the hard clipping at the moment. Let's leave it on that and let's have a listen to our different box tones.
For miles, except for you and me alone. Let's do our best to let them know. When we were dancing on the street, we seemed to stop time.
So you can hear when it's in flat, it's a little bit sparklier on the top end. So it sounds pretty good. It's making it a little bit more transparent because, like I said before, I'm feeding this into a limiter. We're pushing it kind of hard just for the effect. So if we turn Gold Clip off.
When we were dancing on the street, we seemed to stop time. Try to stay safe and sound if I can.
Getting around 3 dBs of clipping, max clip, 2.95 dBs. And then we were getting around 4 dBs of gain reduction on the limiter. It's definitely taken away a little bit of the pumping out of the limiter, which is what you really want by using a clipper. Just sort of smooths it out a little bit. Let's take a look at Gold.
Try to stay safe and sound if I can lead you out and find somebody else. Let's stay on.
All right, so it's kind of interesting. We haven't gone any louder on our clipping, but it does sound louder.
We made it ours. Try to stay safe and sound if I can lead you out and find somebody.
So even with that cranked, we're not getting much extra clipping there.
This was
There's this one big peak here I can see, and that's getting us around 3 dB. If we turn this off, what do we get here?
this was never
we get the same. That is kind of interesting. So it's adding loudness, but it's not pushing into the clipping any harder. So it's kind of voodoo-ish, isn't it? I was expecting to see this clip signal go up. So I'm going to put the gold knob on Unity and we're going to crank it up. And let's see if we can hear what the effect is doing without adding the loudness to it.
Around for miles, except for you and me alone. Let's do our best to let 'em know when we were
Super weird. I can't really hear a difference there.
to let 'em know when we were dancing on the street. We seemed to stop time. This was never our town, but we made it out.
Okay, that's trippy because yeah, I can't hear a difference when it's in Unity mode, but when Unity's out, it's definitely louder, but it's not clipping any harder. So that is tripping me out. So that's some kind of black magic knob. I don't really understand what's happening there. Let's check our limiter when we have this on. Is the limiter going any harder?
To let 'em know when we were dancing on the street. We seemed to stop time. This was never our town, but we made it out.
So it's kind of like everything between the transients is getting louder, but we're still hearing the transients. That's pretty cool. Let's try the Alchemy knob.
Mattress on the balcony, so everyone in town can
So I'm not hearing a huge difference on this mix. I have used this a bit across different mixes, and sometimes you can really feel that it is dampening down on those upper mids and makes like a pretty big difference. But on this particular mix, I'm not really hearing it. So it must just be very source dependent as to like how much this reacts to what's being fed into it. There's also a wet and dry mix over here. So say if you did want to like crush this up, go pretty hard, so get some dramatic settings, you could then play with a wet and dry signal and blend it together. So maybe we can try something like that on the drums and sort of see what that does. Okay, so we're going to use Gold Clip on some drums now. Let's see what we can do. Getting some decent clipping going on there. It sounds alright. Let's try some of these settings out.
It meant the world to me to fill their hearts with jealousy. We've made the same mistakes over and over again, over and over. Let's lay a mattress on the balcony.
I find that modern box tone really takes away the harsh edge that the clipping can add. That's pretty cool. Makes it sound a lot smoother. And that combined with the hard clipper works pretty good. We can kind of push that gold compressor up and it doesn't sound too bad at all. Makes those drums sound pretty big actually. All right, let's try this mix knob over here.
Mattress on the balcony, so everyone in town can see just how into you that I can be. It meant the world to me to fill their hearts with jealousy.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. You can get some unique sounds by blending those signals together. Let's see what it sounds like if we push it really hard.
Mattress on the balcony, so it meant the world to me to fill their hearts with jealousy. Yes, and then I start to believe we've made the same mistakes over and so everyone in town can see just how.
That's pretty cool. Get some pretty big drum sounds, especially playing with the balance of the wet and dry sliders over here. I find the gold on classic is pretty aggressive sounding. I actually prefer the sound of the modern one a lot more, especially on drums. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's what this plugin does, and it does it pretty well actually. I wanted to be a bit like, I don't think it's worth $249, and maybe it's not to some people because it is pretty expensive, but it's a good plugin. And I think I'll probably be using this a fair amount on the mix bus. I really like what it does, especially on mixes where I need that extra bit of loudness and I want to kind of warm it up a little bit. this is a cool tool. Is it the best clipper though? I don't know. There's a lot of other clippers out there that are a fraction of the price of this one, but they don't have necessarily exactly the same features that this one offers, and it does have some uniqueness to it. So I guess that's what makes it kind of interesting. But you guys can be the judge. Maybe you were interested in this and you came to check it out, and now, you know, you're keen to go get yourself a copy. That's awesome. And if you watch that and you think, that's just too much money for me to spend on one plugin, I totally understand your standpoint as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like this plugin? Is it too expensive? What do you guys think? What is the gold knob actually doing? I want to hear your opinion. And as always, if you want to support the channel, make sure you check out the description link below. There's loads of stuff you can check out, affiliate links to cool plugin companies, as well as my own website where you can check out my drum samples and mix courses. And doing any of that stuff is an absolute massive support to this channel. And to everyone who is supporting this channel, I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys, because it does take a lot of time to make these videos, and I really appreciate that. Now, if you're interested in knowing what I think one of the worst purchases I made for my studio is, check out this next video coming up.